What's up, everyone? This is Jake Muller, and this is
Steve Roselle.
And we're out here at McAfee Ski Shop over in Vernon, New Jersey, and he's helping me out talk about what skis I use, why I use them, and what skis you should be looking for when you start skiing. So right here we have a pair of Faction 1.0s. I rode these all last year, and these are my old skis. The reason I like the Faction 1.0s compared to the 2.0s or an Armada ski or anything else, one, these are probably the most durable ski I've ever ridden. I rode a whole year on these, skied every single day, and they are still in one piece, which is probably the first time that's happened in like 6 years. I'm sure you guys see quite a bit of snap skis in here.
Yeah, we're about 100 yards away from the base of Mountain Creek South, and 2-3 skiers a week come in with something pretty beat up.
So these are pretty durable. I know Armadas are really durable, Vocals are durable, K2s. A lot of those main brands, they all honestly get made, a lot of them at the same factories. They're all pretty durable, but just based off my experience on Factions, I'm pretty sure they're 90 millimeter under. Yeah, they're 90 millimeter underfoot, which for me is the sweet spot. I know Fisher rides 86 underfoot, and
and becoming a little bit wider. You see it in almost every single store.
So I did ride the Revision Tailsmans for a couple years, and they were 100 underfoot, and those skis were super flexy. And I know a lot of you guys on here like the whole buttery and bunch thing, and that's cool and all. But the wider underfoot, the less control you're gonna have as a beginner. Like, I'm sure you agree with that.
It's a little less. It's not as quick edge to edge. So when you're really trying to learn, turn, get into your turn the right way, correctly and properly, a little bit skinnier of a ski is.
Yeah. So I found with the Fisher, I did a competition in the spring when it was pretty slushy on Fishers, and it just seemed a little bit too narrow for me, and I felt like I was catching every little bit of slush there.
Exactly.
So for me, I mean, everything's personal I'm talking about right now, just based off my experience. But the 90 underfoot just seems to be my sweet spot. But you guys can play around with it a little bit too. And then basically the way to determine the height of your ski with how tall you are, how would you guys talk to a beginner coming in that needs a ski size?
I mean, really the biggest thing is how beginner are you, and are you athletic? Because sometimes that will play into things. Because if you get too beginner of a ski at first, your 10th day into the season, you might be an intermediate skier and not really need such short of a ski anymore. So when we're talking to a customer, we really try to find a nice ski right in between their chin and their nose. But if you are a little bit more aggressive of a skier, you might want to go a little bit longer if you're looking like you want to go hit some bigger jumps. And I'm sure Jake can kind of talk about like the feel of those things. But a short little ski, it's easy to move around. It's easy, to get the ski to actually turn. A little bit longer of a ski takes a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum to get into its true arc.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, this is all personal, but if I were to walk in here as a beginner, I'm sure Steve would probably recommend a ski like this, right? You said between the chin and the nose.
Yep.
And if I got ski boots on, I'll be a little taller.
Yeah.
But just based off, I've been skiing for, a number of years now, and I've realized, especially, after hitting some Breck's bigger jumps out in Colorado or, even Mammoth out in California, a bigger ski for me is something that I've kind of started to enjoy, because on the bigger jumps it gives you a little bit more stability.
Exactly.
And while the pro of the more stability on the jumps, you have the con of more spinning weight when you're going on the rails especially, or even on jumps. But once you start building those muscle memories and you start getting stronger in your legs, you don't notice that as much as you do the pros of the more stability.
The speed.
So I ride a 176. I'm considering getting the 181 this year, because I really do enjoy the taller ski, because the jumps are probably one of my favorite things to do. But for now I'm on the 176 because I'm on the East Coast and we don't have big jumps. We got a lot of rails, so it is a rail year for me. But yeah, it's kind of what I'm riding this past year, and to give you guys an idea on that. Alright, so the last thing we're talking about when it comes to kind of picking out your skis, kind of what, a lot of this stuff you're going to decide on what type of riding you want to do. Some people are completely fine like surfing around the mountain, they like doing all the butters and kind of just like hitting every little jib and slapping your tails and tail tapping. And for those purposes, what kind of ski would you give them, Steve?
Probably a little bit softer.
Yeah, so why don't you flex this, and you'd probably give them like a pretty soft ski right there. And so when you go to flex a ski when you first get it, he's just going to push down, and you can see that it doesn't take much effort to flex it. And so that's actually going to allow you to press up and down on it pretty hard when you're mounted on the ski. But I have a lot of people ask me in some of my videos, what they should do, get a stiff ski or soft ski, and they think you can only do nose butters with a soft ski. But watch, if he goes to flex this Nordica, it's not a twin tip, but you can tell it's a lot harder, so that's a stiff ski. But what that means is that when you push on it, it's going to give you a lot more resistance. So what I tell people is when they say you can't do nose butter with a stiff ski, I actually highly disagree with that statement and think that if you have the effort and the aggression to flex a stiff ski, it'll make it easier because it's going to push you so far back that the resistance is actually going to help you. So the factions are actually a really good balance of flexy and stiff. The more of a noodle ski you have, the more soft it is, the higher chance it is going to have a breaking because you have these metal edges in there and it's going to start cracking them earlier. So Faction did a really good job with picking a ski kind of in between, you know, so I feel stable on jumps with the stiffness, but I still get to have fun and do my nose butters on the, you know, Mountain Creek over in New Jersey.
Yeah, and a little stiffer of a ski is going to give you a little bit more pop.
Yeah.
A little softer ski, a little bit more forgiveness when you're kind of jumping onto rails, jumping off of rails.
And then the last thing I want to talk about is rocker versus camber. And the difference is, if you have a cambered ski and you put them together like this, there should be a gap in between them. Now you'll see here, like, well, I don't know what he's talking about, there's not much of a gap there. And that's because these are very used skis. I'm pretty sure I put over 100 days on them last year. And they pretty much kind of settled down to having not much of a gap in there. But if you have a rocker ski, you'll notice that they kind of come together in the front and they kind of taper out like that. And the difference with that is, it's not going to have that much pop underfoot, and your turns are going to be delayed. So I don't really, I've never really ridden much of a rockered ski. I did one year on Batalas, but I wasn't too big of a fan of them. They just felt weird under my foot. It could be just because I never gave them a chance, but you're going to realize the standard ski you're going to ride is going to be cambered, and that's kind of what I do. So I hope you guys liked this video on kind of what skis to choose and bindings. We'll be doing a couple more on boots and poles after this. So thank you, Steve, so much for letting me come in here and kind of talk about this stuff, and we'll see you guys next video.